Welcome to Business Prowess with Rafael and Dr. Andrea. Our show will bring you the best insights, ideas, and inspiration from successful entrepreneurs and CEOs in the business world. Don't miss out on the opportunity to learn from the best and stay ahead of the game. Sifu Rafael is the founder of 5 unique shows. He's a fitness professional, solutions expert, executive coach, and head instructor at Max Martial Arts and Fitness in New York. Dr. Andrea Adams-Miller is an award-winning international keynote speaker, best-selling author, and CEO of the Red Carpet Connection Publicity, Publishing, and Talent Agency, and CEO of IgniteYourRelationship.com. Known as the Dream Maker, she makes visionaries' dreams come true, bigger than they ever dare to desire.
Dr. Andrea, happy Friday. How are you?
I'm hunky-dory. And you know what's really fun? My house, when I came downstairs, smells so good because I was cooking stew all night long. And the zucchini and the beef and all the vegetables smells wonderful. I wish you could come for lunch.
Oh. How long of a drive is it? Hang on a minute.
A little long.
Like teleport, right? Wouldn't that be amazing?
Just a little long.
So we do have an incredible human being who's going to be joining us on Business Prowess. Why don't we go ahead and bring her, Reverend?
I would love it.
Marianne Padjan. Come on down, young lady. How are you today on this beautiful Friday?
Oh, I'm doing so great, but now I want to come to Andrea's house because I want some of that stew.
It's so yummy. I'm really happy that I've done it. I've been eating healthier the last couple months, and it's so nice to have a change, you know?
Yes, I love stew.
The word stew makes me think of so many different things. Whether you can stew some good food, or you can stew in the juices of your negativity or your positivity. Where are we going to be stewing today?
Oh, you mean other than Dr. Andrea's stew? I think positivity. I think the three of us are pretty positive, high vibrational people here.
I would like to think so.
Yes,
I would think so because anyways, yeah, it's all good.
So today we're going to talk about empowerment and resilience and pathways to personal triumph. I think they all go into this stew, and I'm so happy you brought that up because you can have positivity in your life, but it's based on so many things that you allow in your life.
Oh my gosh. So many.
How do I call you? Reverend, Dr. Marianne? My friend, my accountability partner. How do I address you?
Just my friend is good.
I love that.
Dr. Andrea had her doctor on, so I decided to put my Reverend and doctor on. Sometimes I have it, so I use it. It's like a pair of earrings. Sometimes I wear them, sometimes I don't.
Yeah, me too, by the way. Today I forgot mine.
I guess I'm wearing mine like a tattoo. I have made it a permanent feature.
Yes.
Pretty
Actually,
cool.
that's true. You do use yours all the time. Me,
Yeah.
I forget about it when I remember it.
You know, and it's interesting too, because when we, if we may take a moment to segue with that, you know, names and titles and stuff. Often I had a conversation a couple weeks ago in Puerto Vallarta. I don't know why I name dropped that beautiful place, only because I know that Marianne was recently in Cancun, and we'll bring up why soon. But when you're somewhere else sometimes and you're with people in a mastermind, and they were sharing that they don't agree with titles, and a couple of them didn't like the idea that I was using my name as a title and thought that it was a form of self-importance or like I don't know. They just thought it was braggy. And my thought is actually, I mean, I suppose it could be seen as that, but it's more of like respecting myself and the fact that I have had a doctorate for a very long time. I think 15 years. And I never allowed myself to have like to live into that I earned that, and I worked really hard, and I have 3 of them. So I worked really, really stinking hard. So the fact that I decided that I deserved to be able to share that I've done that, and it's for me, that I finally lived into that. And then another thing is that I don't feel like I'm Andrea anymore. I feel like I'm Dr. Andrea, and it's like a name. It's just like if somebody's nickname was Doc and they don't even have a doctorate, or somebody who's named Doc and they don't even go to medical school. It's just their nickname. So Dr. Andrea is my nickname, and that's who I am now. And it's funny because my husband will once in a while call me Andy, and I don't even hear it. I hear Dr. Andrea when he says it. And my best friend, when I was 3, she calls me Andy, and I don't really even hear that. And so Andy was my childhood name. And so we become we become different things. It's a different face and space of us. And I just feel like Dr. Andrea, that persona of me is who I feel most like.
Yeah,
So
I love it. I love
That's
it.
awesome.
so I love
It's-
that Marianne can be moving in and out of them. That's beautiful.
Mine's pretty new. I only got mine, I don't know if it was early last year or the year before, but recently. So like what, 2 years ago. But I worked really long and hard for it. And I wasn't aiming for a doctoral anything. I was just doing everything that I was doing for myself. And they actually offered me 2. So one is I'm a doctor of metaphysics, or I could also be a doctor of metaphysical healing, or I could be both. And I'm like, why both? One is fine. Let's just have one, and that's good. And I feel awesome with that. And the Reverend is also a metaphysical. So everything I do is metaphysical in nature. In fact, the brief conversation that we had before we all started was that I'm thinking about another bricks and mortar business, and I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to talk about it, but yeah.
We may talk about it, but when we think about titles, and you're right, Dr. Andrea, when I used to work for a high-end custom woodworking shop, they started calling me out of nowhere, Doc. I was never called that, but they called me the doctor of fixing things, because when something went wrong, they would call me. And so my boss started calling me, Doc, come over here. I want you to fix this for me. And I was like, Doc. And so I didn't say anything. I was like, whatever, at least he's noticing me that I can fix things. But my title, Sifu, I've been doing martial arts for 49 years. So Sifu just means teacher in Chinese. So I consider myself someone who helps. And that's where I was helping to fix things. I was helping people who didn't get it right the first time. And that's why they called me over, to fix the mistakes they made. And for me, it's always about helping. So whatever title I have, I don't care what you call me, just don't call me Tom.
Don't call me Tom. I think you are a little bit of a doctor. Sifu's my accountability partner in the bank code thing that we're doing. And this is what accountability means. Sifu is literally my therapist. I call and I'm like, and then we walk away with, okay, we both have to go now. Okay, yeah, I feel better. Okay, thanks for listening. Bye. And that's our session. He technically is a doctor, so there you go.
Did that with friends before, right? To help one another.
We'll have to get an honorary doctorate.
Be intently listening when someone else is speaking. I think that is how we empower, and we have that resilience to the pathways of that personal triumph. Because if you listen to someone without putting your 2 cents in, then you're really being there for them. And I think that's how we can have that personal triumph. Because I did something good today. I listened. But we forget the little things, don't we?
Sometimes little things can get swept away with everything else that's going on in the world. So
let's consider one of the things that Reverend Dr. Marianne brought up. She's considering a brick and mortar business. She's successful already. as an author, as a doctor, in her different businesses. So the question that I want to ask is, why did that itch come up?
I don't know. It's been with me for about 3 years now, ever since I found out about this particular healing device, so to speak. I mean, it's been around for a few years, but it's been out more, let's say, in the last few years, and it's it's huge. It's healing. It's super healing. You know, I have been in network marketing for maybe 40 plus years. I'm a little older than people might think. I'm 62 years old, and I've been doing it for about 40 plus years.
Can I help you reframe that for a second?
Sorry?
You mean 62 years young. Go ahead.
62 years young. Yes, he's correct. And I stumbled upon these absolutely amazing supplements that I'm now rep for, and I absolutely love them. They're made from the DNA of the plant, and they are infused with negative ions, and therefore they're 100% absorbable. They're the best I have ever had in the 40 plus years. So they're absolutely amazing. And so this particular product that I wanted to have the bricks and mortar with is also now the best because it works on everything. So these are not, you know, vitamin A, then vitamin C, then a multivitamin. It's not like that. They work on different things. So we have something for the heart. We have something for inflammation, for pain, for hormone balancing, et cetera, et cetera. And so this particular product is very similar to it because it's easy. It's easy to take. These are easy to take because they come like this, right? As a lozenge.
Are you talking about that product or the business you're looking to do? Or is
So
that
both?
What's setting you to go to the next?
So I'm talking about both, and I'm comparing them. So this to me is the best supplement I've come across, and this device, I may as well just talk about it. It's scalar technology, if anyone's heard of that. And so to me, scalar it covers everything. It heals everything. It doesn't focus on one thing. It's not like, oh, here you have to do this to get that, and you have to do that, and then you have to inject, and then, you know, there's nothing. You just sit there and receive. These are easy to take as a supplement, same kind of thing. You just sit there and receive, put them in your mouth and receive. There's no anything. There's no after effect or anything. Like, it's just so easy. And I think with them, you kind of have to have, I mean, I can't walk around, drive around with a scalar technology and come to people's houses. I guess maybe I could on some level, but I'm not sure how that would be done. So that's why the bricks and mortar. But it's a different setup. It's a completely different setup because I've actually done bricks and mortar. I used to own a spa. I owned a spa for almost 13 years. And I've also had spa on the road before it was anything. And that was while I was living in Europe. So I don't know if I want to go back to doing the bricks and mortar because you have to be there from such and such a time to such and such a time. And yes, I could have other people working there, but I feel like I would like to have a partner in this. And I don't know, maybe because I'm getting older, my ego is very well fed. I've had titles, as you can see. I have, done this, that, and the other, and I'm kind of okay now. I'd like to just do what's good for me, not just what makes me feel like I'm already well fed in the ego department. So I don't need anything. Oh, I own this or I own that. No, this is just for the people, for the healing. Come here. If you need a healing, come here. This is where you're going to come here and get healed. Not that I don't already do a lot of that. Not that you don't do that at your 10,000 square foot dojo. Not that Dr. Andrea does that somewhere else and all over the place, actually. And, it's just, you know what? Here it is. It's simple. Come here, sit here, do nothing, and just receive. I love that idea. And I think the only other thing I would add in there is the supplements so people could buy them there. And maybe add in like a massage, have a massage therapist or something that's complementary to that, not facials, not, none of that. Like I used to.
Sounds like is a state-of-the-art med spa.
Yes, yes, yes. Healing.
Maybe
clinic.
that's the name you can call it.
Yeah.
It's interesting that that you're sharing that, because over the years, my husband and I have talked about putting another little tiny home. Before tiny homes were popular, we were trying to figure out how we could create a tiny home, and then all of a sudden they became popular like 5 years later. It was so funny how innovation in your mind works, and then somebody else is thinking of it at the same time. So that I had a pop-up office separate from the house, because the kids were at home then, where now the kids are gone, so I could have it in the house. But I like the idea of like, well, when I'm traveling, I wouldn't have my healing stuff with me.
Mm-hmm.
So what if I made it like I got a little travel home, mobile home thing. And then that way I could park it where I wanted to and have people come in. And then when I didn't want to be in it, or, whatever, I could have other people sit in it and be there and have access to it. And so it's interesting, because I've already been, I like that idea, and I've been thinking about it for so long. I like having this one-stop wellness center. That was something that I wanted 30 years ago and talked about. And I had an office at one point and was creating that. Due to eminent domain and things like that, I had to let that office go for flood expansion. And and I didn't know if I would want to do it again, but it is, we've been thinking about it. So it's funny. I once in a while I'll go and pop in and look at a little travel trailer and think, do I really want to drive that thing now? Like, because, I was talking about traveling to Philly in a couple weekends, and I'm like, do I really want to drive this big old monster thing? Because then I'd have to sit with people and be in there with people while they're there, so we'll see. We'll see.
That's a cool idea, though. That's also, having like a healing traveling thing too. And that's not a terrible thing. And I don't mind having a few extra rooms in there and having, like I said, very complementary things, but they all have to be healing. And not to say that facials are not healing. I just don't want to go that way, that route. Maybe something little, some smaller version where you have the infrared lights, and now they have various different things that you can do and you can put onto your face, something like that. Yes, but not this line of supplements also has a really great and clean 100% free of chemicals skincare line. So that's the kind of thing I'm interested in. It's and I think maybe thinking back to the spa, I think what I did with opening up the spa, I bought myself a job, because I was there pretty much 12 hours a day. I had other people working here as well. And, but it was me. I did a lot of the work, whereas now I'm kind of don't want to do that much work. I don't want to do that much physical labor. And, I would like to.
When you consider what you're looking to accomplish, you see something that you can actually bring to the forefront, bring to people because of something that interests you, your passion to help people. So I think that you need to do it, but you need to do it in a way so that it's no longer a job, but it's a fulfillment of your energy in a positive way, so that you can still go somewhere, go on vacation, it's still running without you. So getting a partner would be smart, but getting the best partner who has the same vision as you, not somebody who goes, I want to make this amount of money. Because when they talk money, guess what? And the money doesn't start coming in, or they're not doing their part, they're going to blame you. So I think because this is a business prowess show, we need to talk about the business concepts and ideas of starting a new business. And no matter how many businesses you have, as an entrepreneur myself, I've started several businesses and they're all still running. But for me, it's sometimes, do I want a partner, or can I handle it myself and just pay people to run it, but maybe instead of giving them, a full 50-50 partner, maybe I give them a percentage of the income that comes in. So they work towards that. So they feel they have skin in the game instead of it's just a job.
Right.
Or it's her thing. Right. So I think it's something that you have to look at. And I hope that you're going to be super successful. Well, I know if you do it, you're going to be super successful doing it. And I know you and I both have great friends who can definitely help you in that arena.
Yes, I think that's one of the reasons I haven't sort of chosen a place, which is the other big thing. Is I live in a big city. I live in Toronto, well, just outside of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, but it's big, and I don't want to live in the city anymore. So I'm thinking, if this turns into some sort of whether we turn it into a franchise or something bigger, or it's just a chain of these clinics, or even if it's just one clinic, the city is the better place to do it, because that's where the people come. Now, people will come for healing. If things are really tough, they will come for healing, an hour away or half an hour away or something a little further away from the city. But I haven't found that spot yet. So that's my other thing, the right partner and the right spot. So I
call it farm stand healing, and you have it like a farm stand on the side of the highway.
That would be ideal, but yeah, honestly. And you know what? And I've
thought driving for a long time. They're like, I need a break. Oh, look at that, a farm stand healing. What is that about?
I've actually thought about purchasing, so I live in a condo. I mean, anyone who lives in a condo in a large city, y'all know it's small, right? But for the same price, or maybe add on a little bit, I could have a much larger house in a smaller place. And I've actually thought about that, because my other passion that I just haven't been doing as much as I would like to is retreats. And if I could have that spot where I could have that room for the healing, and then, because it's just a matter of turning on the machines and or the devices. And I mean, we can certainly use them during a retreat as well. But to have those two things in the same place where I live, that would almost be ideal.
Okay.
That would be lovely to have that set up like that.
Right?
One of my businesses is 7 minutes from my house.
Can
beat that.
Wow. Either in the house or that close. So my spa was actually... it was a half an hour drive, because I lived in Toronto. Then I moved to up the street, and I could walk there in 3 minutes. That was the best. But I could also leave it and then go home. And I had a computer there, and I had no computer at home at all. I just had my cell phone. No, at the time, back then we still had home phones. Remember those?
Yes, I loved my home phone. And when my husband decided that we didn't need it, he didn't consult with me first and made it go away. And then because I was like, you're a fireman. If the cell phones go down, the landlines always work. That's why I still wanted a landline, but
yeah,
he's gone. We still have our landline phone number though, but it's not attached to it's attached to our Google Voice, which is really funny.
Well, what's really funny is
that's so good, because even if the cell lines go down, that still works.
I know.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Cool?
I have the same thing for my business, actually.
That's funny, because I did actually have a landline. You're absolutely right. I totally forgot about that. About 2 years ago, when I signed up with my provider, they gave us cable. What was it? Cable, cell phone, something else, and a landline. And I'm like, I don't use a landline. And they're like, yeah, but it kind of comes with the package. And I'm like, okay. I never used it. I didn't even have a phone, but it came with it. And I'm like, oh, that's so funny. Landlines.
Yeah.
Good.
Technology has definitely changed the way we do business. Let's consider the fact that before the internet, we were all doing business. Dr. Andrea, you've been doing business for a very long time. Reverend Dr. Marianne, you've been doing business for very long. I've been doing business for very long. Before the internet really became super popular, before email. I used to put an ad in the Penny Saver.
Me too.
On a Friday, I would have 50 people show up at my front door the next day.
Mhm.
50. And that was every week. Day in, day out, I had constant flow. All of a sudden, the internet came, and everybody thought, this is the greatest thing. I'm going to have more people than I've ever had before. Guess what? The Penny Saver went away. The internet is flooded with everyone for zero cost. In the old days, when you advertise in the yellow pages, your 2 lines was several $100s. And if you wanted the whole page, forget it. It was, $10,000 a month or whatever it was. And then that went away because who even has a yellow pages now? So technology took some of the things that we relied on to get customers. Now we have to rely not only on the internet. We have Google, but you have to advertise on Google. And now you're competing with the world. But if you're smart and savvy about how to compete in local, because a lot of people think, I'm just going to put it on Google, and they don't realize that you can narrow it down to just your community. You can narrow it down by zip code, and people don't realize the advantages to doing that, because only the people in your area are the ones that are going to see your ads. Somebody who lives 4 miles away should not be seeing your ad unless you're an online business. But if you're a local brick and mortar, I think we need to learn how to advertise a little bit differently. And the technology is great, but it sucks too. Just thought I should.
I'd like, all right, so I'm 55. You guys don't have to think how old you are if you don't want to. However, I am just cracking up thinking about how funny technology is. And and my grandma just died 2 years ago, and she was 95. To think of all the things that she knew in her life and what we have been able to see, I remember, we were one of the first people in my city to have a video recorder, and my aunt was the first one to have the beta camcorder, and she videotaped everything, and how we had all these different gadgets and things, and the cell phone then, or not the cell phone, our well, I guess we called them mobile phones then, where we could walk out of the room with that big antenna. It changed from our big 20-foot.
It was like this big. Remember the first Cantel ones? Oh my God.
It was a brick.
I loved it though, because I didn't have to have that 25-foot cord that was extended out to crazy that we could walk around ever.
Let's not forget pagers too.
Oh,
I worked in law enforcement then, so I had my pager, and then how you set up different codes so you don't have to call the person to know what it says. You have a whole language on there.
I had two. I run from the police. I'm just kidding. But my 2 businesses at the time, I had to have each one, and then I still had a cell phone. And think about that. This thing has revolutionized the way we do business. It's a computer in your hand. To have the technology that's on a phone now, when technology first started, to have the same technology would have been 30 to 50 grand. And now, they're expensive. They're about $1,200, but still.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the best meme in the world, to me. Well, maybe not in the whole world, but related to this conversation. It said, just a minute, I'm ready to go. Let me get my full Encyclopedia Britannica. Let me get my full vinyl record collection. Oh, let's not forget every map for every city in every state. because, remember when we would pack our walkie-talkie thingies, and so we could communicate when we went somewhere, and then we would have all our 8-tracks or all our cassette tapes, for in the car, and then our Walkmans as well, so we could listen to music, and then all our books so we could read them in the car when you went on vacation, and all your big atlas. But we don't need any of that anymore. We have one thing that holds all of that.
I know, isn't that amazing? And that GPS, oh my gosh, I remember struggling with the map.
Do you ladies know who we have to thank for that?
Who?
He was a vice president.
A vice president was responsible for GPS?
For bringing it to us.
One of your vice presidents? That's the name?
Oh, yeah. It would be Marianne is from Canada. We want to remind everyone. Yes. I have no idea.
So who was Bill Clinton's vice president?
He was a K. I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't remember that Kamala was our vice president now because I don't keep up on politics. And because I don't keep up on politics, I see nothing about her. And so I was like, somebody said something and I'm like, oh, isn't she our vice president? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay.
So I'm not gonna, it's easy enough for me to tell you, but what happened is that the government had been using GPS for a while. And this vice president fought for us. He's also the guy who was into a green world. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because I want somebody to come back on the chat and tell us who it is. I dare anyone, even on the replay, come back and tell us who was the vice president, I'm playing a game with everybody, so play along. Who was the vice president that made GPS available to us? He made sure that we had it because the government had it for a while. They were able to track so many different things, know where their troops were, all these different things. And then he was also responsible to make sure that the green the gases and the green and be green and the whole thing, climate changing and all of that. So he was the one. And I always think about him every time that I even put on my GPS. I'm like, wow, because we probably may not still have it now if it wasn't for him interjecting and fighting for us to have it.
I have a question. Was this vice president, did he become a president later?
No.
Oh, okay, then I don't know who it is.
So I tried looking it up, which is funny because I'm the kind of person who has to look stuff like this up.
Yes, you do.
And, I did not know that GPS is owned by the government and operated by the U.S. Air Force. Yes. And it says they can pinpoint three-dimensional positioning to the 10 nanosecond level worldwide 24/7. Mm-hmm. By the way, it doesn't mean that they always do, because if I were to tell you my address and you were to use some GPSs, you would get a half a mile down the road and call me and say, you have given me the directions to a murky, mucky pond beside a river. And that is not where I live. That is, for whatever reason, it thinks we live a half mile down the road.
Gotcha. But here's the thing. That's what they use. That doesn't mean that we have the full technology. But if I want to know where my car is, where my car's parked, I can GPS it through my phone. I can find where my car is. I can find where some of my family members are.
Wow.
So I can see if they're home. I can see if they're traveling. I can even see through find my phone where somebody's on the highway, if I can track. So you can do it yourself. You just have to go find my phone or find my wife, my spouse, my son, my daughter. So for anybody listening, we can track one another. And it's not about keeping tabs, because it's about making sure that if somebody says they're going to their friend's house and it's your teenage son or daughter, that they actually are there, right? Or that they're going on a camping trip. It keeps track of them. So I think that's an important, valuable tool that we have, but we should use it the right way, not because we want to know where our spouse is, if you know what I mean.
So my daughter and my husband use it all. Demaya, she does it for entertainment. Like, where is mom now? And she looks at it, and she does it all the time. She's constantly looking and searching, and knows where we're at. And she makes a joke about it. In fact, she sends me TikToks when other people say, I'm constantly spying on my family. And she doesn't consider it spying. She just genuinely cares what we're at and what we're doing. And what I found out is, my husband, like when I'm traveling, he will not bother me because he thinks I'm working, even though I want to be bothered. And so I always felt like he didn't care until I found out, like I made a comment and he goes, oh yeah, I knew you had arrived, or I knew you were there because I looked at your GPS and I knew where you were. So then I now in my head, when I don't hear from him, go, oh, he probably is already looking me up and knowing where I'm at, because that's he's a blueprint. So that's his way of caring, is he's following his rules that he can't bother me because I'm working. Like I mean, I do tend to work 24/7, but I'm not working where I can't get a text. But yeah.
So is this something you can do by putting the person's phone number in, or how does this work? Or do
They
you
have to accept it. So for example, Marianne, I can actually track you. If all I have to do is send you, I want to track you, and I send you a request, and you say yes or no. It's
Are
that
you an
easy.
Apple or a Samsung?
Samsung?
Samsungs use Life, I think it's called Life 360.
Mm.
So but and then they can do that. So it's a different system than the Apple one. It's Find My Friends. And Find My Friends, I have all my kids except for my daughter who has a Samsung, and then a couple friends. And so I know where they are all the time. And it is very helpful too. There's other things, like when my mom was in a car accident, we happened to be at Cedar Point, the amusement park, and we got a notification that she was in a critical incident with a car accident, and this is where it happened. So we knew, thanks, hi Michael, we knew where it was happening and what it and knew something, so we could send people on the way. So LS is asking questions. Do we want to answer it yet, or are you going to leave us some more suspense?
So if you think about it, I had a client recently, about 2 months ago, had a car accident, and she normally didn't wear an Apple Watch. I wear no jewelry, right? Zero. It's just because I like to fight, so sometimes I don't want to hurt somebody if I have to hit them. And
Hurt them if I have to hit them. That's the
I have
best.
to hurt them, but I don't want to show the marks, is what I'm saying.
I know. I'm kidding.
So she tells me that her dad had given her an Apple Watch, and she, to appease her dad, she said, okay, I'll wear it. She didn't wear one. And then she started wearing it. She's like, oh, look, it has it can keep track of my heart, the whole deal. And she got into a car accident. The Apple Watch called 911. Is that incredible?
That's good.
Because what if she was she's like, what is going on? She looked and it said, dial 911, your airbag just deployed. And she's like, whoa, that's cool. She didn't even have it. What if she would have been unconscious? That would have saved her life, right? But the fact that it was instantaneous, I think that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And it makes me say, man, maybe I do need an Apple Watch. I'd rather wear like an Apple necklace, maybe. Maybe that's the next thing they're going to come up with. They're thinking about the trip. What do you think?
Well, if I knew that I could go ahead and see images and information and read a text right here in my peripheral vision, I would kind of like that. However, it reminds me of when I have GPS on and somebody's text message pops up and it's in the way of where I need to turn, and then you can't see the turn. I don't know why they haven't invented yet that damn text is put down lower, like in the middle, like where if it came through here, then you wouldn't notice it as much, you know? It's crazy.
Well, they now have the Meta glasses by Ray-Ban, and it's glasses you put on. They have the commercial, I've seen it, and you can actually answer a call. You can see a text message. You can actually Google search something. You can even see in a different language. If it has something written in a different language, you can tell it to interpret it, and it'll interpret it for you. So the technology is truly advancing, but I think they're considering a chip that goes by your ear. I'm not sure I want it, but I know a lot of people who are very interested in doing such a thing. And we went from empowering and resilience pathways to personal triumph. And I think that even though we kind of segued away, we're kind of still in the same channel, if you will, right? Because technology does help us have better outcomes as long as we're using them correctly. Can I share with you guys? Let me talk to you about the other thing that also impacts so much of our lives. I want to share with you what I'm doing personally. Take a look.
Welcome to Speaking Prowess, where we believe in the power of communication to transform lives. If you're ready to take your communication skills to the next level, we have a lineup of some of the most influential communication experts in the industry. These are the voices that will guide you on a journey to enhance your ability to connect, influence, and succeed. At Speaking Prowess, our mission is clear: to empower you through effective communication. We know that mastering the art of communication isn't just about what you say. It's about how you say it and the impact it has on every aspect of your life. So take action now and get ready to embark on a journey towards personal and professional growth.
It's coming. It's coming. It's going to be in every city, every state. That is the goal.
Well, that'll be super fun.
It will be. It will be.
Amazing.
We're also having an event here in New York, November 22nd through the 24th, and I will be sharing more information on that. It's going to be workshops with Jose Escobar, Dr. Reed, probably Dr. Andrea, and Reverend Dr. Marianne. You threw me a loop there for a second.
I'll just put the doctor up next time. Wow, November, eh?
You know, what you don't know is that Dr. Andrea and I have become husband and wife on the show. So we're virtual husband and wife, but maybe you can marry us virtually.
I think I can.
And for those of you who are confused, because you thought that he was engaged and you thought that I was married, I do have a real life husband, and then I have a virtual online husband. And that's a online work husband. So let's be more clear. So people are like,
he's my
I'm so confused.
Sifu's cheating on Dr. Andrea because he's my accountability husband.
Exactly. And he's also doing a show with Nikki Ganjemi, who is my friend, who I brought to the Connected Leaders Academy, and then Sifu gobbled her up because she's just adorable. So she's doing the is it the
Seer Show?
Say it again.
The Seer
Show.
The truth on health, fitness, and mindset.
So he's cheating on all of us. Really, is really what's going on.
If you want, I have an internet husband. Hey, I have an internet husband, right, Jose?
Hey, November is a possibility. I'm no longer going on my cruise that I won.
And to New York.
And they've shifted it over to next year because the owner's wife is going to have a baby around then, and they usually come on the cruise with us. So that's another awesome thing that I won.
Well,
the three of us should have a conversation off camera about you coming and being part of it. So we'll talk. So let's consider everything that we've been talking about today. I love the energy that you both bring And it allows me to always grow with every one of these shows. It totally, totally does. Because when I listen to one of our guests speak, it makes me think of either I'm on the right path or I need to get on that path. But I'm not always jumping on a bandwagon because it has to align with me. My goal in the end is to impact not just one person, but the world. And Dr. Andrea, you always bring such beautiful insights. So I want to thank you for that as well.
Well, thank you so very much. I appreciate being appreciated.
Thank you so much for having me on your show again. I love coming here. I hope you call me again soon. This is fun. The last time the three of us were together was on one of my Empowered Talk summits, which was amazing, as they always are. This particular time, the building I lived in had a fire alarm. So this is what true friends are. You get to go outside with your dog because your building's having a fire alarm, and your two friends are hosting your show for you while you're gone. That's beautiful.
You know, it's also based on trust, right? That you trusted us, both of us, Dr. Andrea and myself, to actually carry on, to hold the torch for you.
I was just super grateful. Trust isn't even a question with the two of you. You're like family. We just discussed that. Like we're a dysfunctional family. You're cheating on all of us, and we love you for it.
We love you for it. Yes.
I don't know. There's something.
I don't know. Is this the modern family that we're talking about?
Yes.
Definitely so. And it is beautiful when you can have friends outside of your bloodline who really do become the people that are in your inner circle that you can trust the most. So it's quite lovely. So
right. I have to boogie. Thank you so much for being our guest today.
Thank you for having me.
Marianne Padjan, NAKB/ANKB. She has to make up her mind.
I can't make up my mind because the letters are so close together. The numbers are so close together that I literally am an ANKB while I'm working, and then, an ANKB while I'm working. And then when I'm doing healing, it's NAKB. So, and I could go from a conversation on the phone about real estate where I'm an ANKB, and we should probably talk about that at some point later on, so y'all know what we're talking about. And then if I'm doing a healing session or a coaching, it's an AKB. It's just, I don't know.
Well, and the higher your intelligence, emotional intelligence, and regular intelligence, the more likely you can switch out of all the codes. And Marianne is actually working on raising her K and B.
I am. Especially my B. Oh my goodness, I cannot.
And if you're watching this and you have no idea what we're talking about bank code. If you look on the chat, we have different opportunities for you to take your personality assessment so that you can learn more about it, and just reach out to any of us. We're all studying to be trainers. So there you go. Love it. Love it.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Everybody who joined us, thank you. If you watch the replay, I want to know vice president was, and somebody already said it in the chat.
I saw it and I agree. That must be it. And the next time you'll see us together will be on the 15th on my Empowered Talks.
Cool.
All right. Bye, guys.
Thank you.